What's up, everybody? We are going to talk about why you shouldn't always listen to rating systems in games. This is a good time for me to stop and talk about that because my inventory is full anyway. So I think you guys have heard me mention that there's a character in this game I really enjoy. But she had the absolute lowest rating. The lowest rating out of any hero. And that's probably going to be a turnoff for a lot of players. They're looking through characters. They're probably going to pick a character that's ranked, 4.9 out of 5, as opposed to picking a character that's ranked 4.6. Or, oh, look at that. She actually did go up in rank. I don't know if that's because I've been trying to put the word out that this girl is actually really Nar Nar, Fran. She was ranked at a 4.6, though. When the game first launched, because I could understand, this girl's a tank that can do a shit ton of burst damage, and I can see why people were kind of off-put by that, because in order to do the damage, she sacrifices half of her health. So that's not very good for a tank. You can drop some DPS, but then you're down to half health, your tank gets taken out, and then your party dies. So you really have to manage this character. You have to manage her health. The thing is, once you actually get a healer like this guy who can sustain her by throwing an AoE heal effect that stays active, right? Because what this guy does with his skill, this cuisine that he throws, is for 11.5 seconds. So for 11.5 seconds, there is constant healing on the battleground. And it's a pretty good area. So as long as Fran is in that area, right? As long as Fran is standing in that area, Fran has 11,000 hit points. So she drains half of her health. Let's just say it's, easy 5,000. And she does... what, two and a half times 200%? Let's see. Okay, so she sacrifices 50% of her current health and deals damage equals to 274% of the hit points sacrificed. So she more than doubles it. I can tell you right now, Fran here, this one, with this very build that I have right now, look at her stats with her 11,836 hit points. When she sacrifices half of her health, she does 14,000 damage. That is a lot. That is substantial. She is hitting harder than any of my assassins are. Now, of course, this works out well because I have that healer. She has 11 seconds to drop her skill over and over again, doing 14,000 damage a hit. Most of the end bosses that I'm fighting right now, just going through the story, she will take half of their health away instantly with that 14,000, and her health heals up just as quick as long as you have the right healer, and then she can just dump it again for she can easily get up to 30,000 damage within that 10-second time frame. That is just awesome damage, but of course you have to play her right and you have to balance it. You have to know when you can throw this ability. Sometimes I don't even use it. If I'm in a really tough fight and she's taking the damage for my team, I'm going to probably wait till the very end of the fight to try to burst damage the boss after I don't need this character as much. Maybe I'll wait for the enemy's health to get halfway down, and then I will start sacrificing her hit points. The point is, you can produce so much damage from a tank. It becomes really good. Now, I'm only running one healer. You could feasibly run two characters that have a heal ability, and you could just spam the shit out of this girl's her skill. And this thing has a pretty decent range too. All right. It also pulls aggro, and it stuns everybody. Prevents target from taking action. So this is really good because you can use this when the enemy is trying to cast a spell or drop a bomb. She will instantly stop them. So this is why this girl went from a 4.5 rating to a 4.8 now. I anticipate that pretty soon Fran will be at a 4.9. It was just really funny because this was the very first character that I picked, right? I got her from a pick ticket and I was like, I like this design of this girl. She's cool. So I picked her, and that's when I saw that there were character ratings, and I started looking at it and I was like, oh, look at that. I picked the very worst character in the game. And when I started running her blindly and I started noticing that she's losing health, even though stuff's dying around her, she's still losing health. And for a tank, she was super squishy. And I was like, oh, this is probably why her rating is low. Well, after I actually read into the character, and I think that's what was happening. People were trying this character out, and they were just giving her a rating without actually reading into her and figuring out what you can do with this girl. Her unholy retribution is absolutely effing amazing, right? And she also has soul linkage. She shares pain, right? Absorbs 57.5% of damage taken by allies. So she's going to take damage from your allies. Another reason why this girl is good is because she is built around hit points. A lot of the gear and stuff that I'm seeing for her is adding to hit points. So she's going to have the hit points to take those hits for the rest of your team. She's also going to have the hit points to sacrifice to do tons and tons of damage. And as long as you have a healer to keep up, I mean, getting this much burst damage out of your tank slot, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm going to run Ultima, or whatever, Althena, her name. I forget what it is off the top of my head. It's one of the two. I'm going to run her soon. She's also a tank-like character. She reflects some of the damage, or I think she ignores 40% of the damage, and she has an aggro. And she does throw chain lightning. Now, I don't think she's going to come anywhere near matching this girl's damage with her chain lightning, but we'll have to see. But she's not sacrificing half her health, so I can see why people would want her as a tank. She's just seems like a safe bet, just overlooking everything. I am still going to run Fran here. I think even after I run Ultima, I'm going to come back to Fran and just keep working with her. I dig her character design. I don't know where I've seen this design before. It might have even been in one of the other Shining games, but I totally dig it. And the little eye patch, she looks like a tanky little, whatever the hell she is. I don't know, little zombie doll girl. But I dig the whole carrying the coffin around and beating people with it. She lets something out of it. So if you're going to get a Fran, work on her hit points. Give her gear that's going to give her hit points. That's going to multiply the damage that she does with her skill. And the more hit points you have, I mean, just the better she is overall. This is a full-on hit point character. Don't really care about her attack that much. If I could, I would have a weapon that gives her hit points, because her hit point pool is going to be damage. It's going to be how much damage you do, and it's going to be how much survivability you have after you do all that damage. And if you have enough hit points, that gives you a chance to heal up and survive after dropping the nuke that she drops, and then being able to drop another one when your health is full. Obviously, you want to use her skill when her health is all the way full, so you're sacrificing the maximum amount of hit points and doing the maximum amount of damage. That's why I prefer a healer that just has an AoE heal effect for like 11 seconds, because if this girl goes into the fight at half health, I'm going to want to use his healing ability before I drop her skill. That way she's topped off on health when she sacrifices some and just does tons and tons of damage. And I'm telling you guys right now, I invested into this character a little bit because I just knew she was going to be good just based off of how she was playing, comparing her damage. Granted, you do have to heal her up, but here's my Shizu. I've been working on this girl. She's a 5-star, right? She's got 13, 19 strength, and she has a skill that does wonderful damage. Sakura Torment, I'm always talking about how nice it is to see people's, health bars just disappear. She's doing 317% of her attack. So listen, this right here, this girl, because she crits and everything, she's going to hit for like 5,000 damage. And that's good. That's good damage. Like, that's a fifth of the boss's bar. You can definitely see that cut into a boss when this girl hits. Right? But Fran here, she's hitting for 3 times as much damage. Just by sacrificing her hit points, it's like 3 of those Sakura Torments put together, because she's literally hitting for like 15,000 with her 800 attack, as opposed to, you know, my Shizu's 1200. Now she's going to be upgraded. I think I can weapon her, or level her weapon up a little bit. But she's still not going to catch up to this girl's damage because she's sacrificing hit points. She's just like sweet, sweet Granny Lestelle from Langrisser. So I totally dig Fran. And I wanted to stop and take a minute to talk about her because she was like really the first character I started playing. Still dig her, and I'm glad that her rating is actually going up in this game. I don't want people to miss out on such a fun tank to play. It really gives you something to do. You're monitoring her health the whole time. And for some fights, you might not even use her skill. You might just use her as just a tank, right? She has great hit points. She has good defense. Forget about her attack. That stat can be 0. It really doesn't matter because she's going to be doing damage based off of hit points. That is what makes this girl unique. Now, don't get me wrong. She has some stiff competition, right? Like the other tank that's rated, you know, the #1 tank in the game. Yeah, I could see why she's #1. Because she's just easier to use. You don't have to pay attention to her health. You don't have to worry about her dying as much. But at the same time, you're not getting that huge payoff, right? You're not getting a ton of burst damage out of your tank. Don't get me wrong, that girl can throw Chain Lightning level 3. But I already have a girl that can throw Chain Lightning level 4 and has a higher attack. So that Chain Lightning level 3, I know what it's going to do. It's going to be pretty damn skippy, but it's not going to be anywhere near what Fran can do by sacrificing her hit points. And as long as there is a healing effect going on, yeah, Fran's just going to outdamage a lot of characters, at least so far, that I've noticed. So definitely, guys, do not snooze on Fran. You can get her from one of the free tickets. She's a very interesting tank to play. Great character to start. Just invest in all hit points and know how her skill works. Know when to use it. It's one of the things I like about this game coming over from Las Claudia, besides the fact that you can get characters here without spending $500 a piece. You can't button mash. You cannot button mash. In Las Claudia, you're waiting for one of your heroes to drop a skill, and you're waiting for the cooldown time. So you just start tapping on it. You just start tapping on it, and any second now, that cooldown is going to expire, and boom, I can tap that button. You can't do that in this game, right? Because as soon as you start tapping icons, it assigns a numerical value to them, and it will try to execute the order that you put into it. So you have to be smart at how you program your team to fight. You got to look at their mana real time, see who's going to be charged up next, and give them the proper order in your attack sequence, right? You might have to stop this girl from doing an attack because she's going to hold everybody up, because it's going to take her longer to get enough magic points. So she's going to hold up everybody that's after her until she can get enough magic points to do her attack, if you have a program like that. So tapping a bunch of different attacks and commands in this game, it doesn't work well for you. You have to actually pay attention and play real time. And I really enjoy that. I really enjoy that. It's a simple twist. It changes the play a little bit. And this game is different than Las Claudia. But I definitely dig that. I'm really I've really grown to like that. The way that they have the skill set up in this game. And there's also items to throw in combat. I haven't even really started using those yet. I've just been paying attention to the characters. So I did tell you guys that I was going to start kind of reviewing characters and going over them. So I guess this will be the very first one, and it's Fran. And it's fitting, because this is the first hero that I picked. And this girl definitely gets 2 thumbs up from me, right? She also has a weapon skill. Absorbs attack, defense, steals attack from enemy, and increases your defense. So that is just awesome for a tank to have. I'm going to lower your attack, and I'm going to increase my defense. So I take less damage, and you do less damage. So this can be good. This can help her deal with some real heavy hitters. And of course she has taunt, and this girl taunts all the time. Um, Pretty simple. Increase defense by 6%. It also taunts everybody. I'm pretty sure when she uses Unholy Retribution, the thing is, she does so much damage with Unholy Retribution, it taunts everybody automatically. It doesn't even need to say that it taunts, because when you're dropping that kind of damage, you automatically pull aggro on yourself. So she doesn't need a taunt ability as much as other tanks do, because she's going to be out damaging pretty much your rogue, right? So she's going to grab aggro from all the enemies around her. It just works out very well. So that's what I think of this character. Here's the gear I have for her. It's nothing too fancy. We got like some purple tier equipment. Her weapon is still a 4-star weapon. Everything else looks like a 5-star except for her armor. So look, her armor's not even that great, right? Matter of fact, oh, look at that. Can we get a grade up on this? Well, at least it was a success. Yay, her attack went up a little bit. That does not really matter. Yeah, attack core, block core, skill defense. Skill defense would be nice. Yeah, what are you going to do? So, yeah, definitely still working on this character. Going to get her some better items. But she's damn powerful right now on this account. She's pulling a lot of weight with her 39,000 battle power. And like I said, she's doing more damage than this Shizu. This Shizu is at 41,977 battle power. She's almost at 42,000. And like I said, she's not going to crank out as much damage as Fran, which isn't something you would expect from a tank character. So that's what makes Fran unique. So everybody keep your eye out for Fran. She is pickable. You can use one of those tickets to actually pick her. She's a solid tank. If you're tired of using Jake here and you want a tank that can do a ton of burst damage, go with Fran all the way. Her rating is climbing for a reason. And I think this will conclude our very first character review for Shining Beyond. Thanks for watching, and thank you for the support to the channel. And you guys have an awesome day as always. And I'd wish you good luck, but to be honest, with this game and this gacha, it doesn't take any luck at all. You're going to get everything you want. Peace, everybody.